What is up, y'all? We are back with another episode of Pushing Buttons. This is episode 38. 38. This is episode 38. I am one half of the Bromance B, and I am joined by my lovely, lovely co-host and friends. So to my left, we have the very popular, melanin glowing, microphone toting, skin glowing, the second most beautiful man on planet Earth, right after my dad, Keith.
What's going on, B?
And then all the way to the end of this couch, we have the very popular, very Instagrammable, Miss IG her damn self, Claudia.
What's going on, guys?
And then all the way further than that, we have a very good friend of mine, the model.
Oh, God.
The author, the religion enthusiast.
Oh, that's new.
Religion enthusiast. R. Paul Taylor.
What's going on, everybody?
I got that right.
Yeah.
All right. Can I just call you Paul?
Yeah, that's cool.
All right. So we have Paul here today. I'm not used to calling him that, by the way. We have Paul here today. He's going to join us with the shenanigans. We're going to have a little bit of fun. But before we go around the room and see how everybody is doing, I do want to say that we are on all streaming platforms. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and we are on Anchor for your ass. And we're on YouTube, so go subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it. Apparently, it means something to subscribe and leave beautiful comments on Apple Podcasts. So go ahead and do that. Comment, like, whatever the hell. Follow us at One Pushing Buttons. And we're going to go down this way and see how everybody is doing. Keith, how you be?
I'm all right. I'm good. It was a good week.
Just good?
Yeah,
All right.
just got to hang out. It's fine.
Cool. We're going to move through these quick, because we got a lot of shit to unpack. Claudia, how you be?
I'm doing great.
You great?
I'm great.
She
Excited?
seems great today.
I'm great.
All right.
When I walked in, she was smiling. First time she opened the door, the smile she used to say.
Yeah, she's feeling good today. We have R. Paul Taylor. I'm having a very hard
I
time
thought you was
saying
just going to go with Paul.
Paul.
He can't remember
Paul.
to do that.
We have Paul down here. Paul, how you be?
I'm good. This was a long week, but it was very productive. So I'm good. Yeah. I'm excited about tonight.
Oh, yeah. We're going to talk some shit. We're going to get into some shenanigans. We're going to piss some more people off.
Hey.
We might lose a couple friends tonight.
Maybe.
That's cool.
It is what it is. We've got more. So we are going to get started with the random topic of the week. So this is something that we do every week for Mr. Paul here.
Okay.
Something we do every week, right? We each of us take a turn and we come up with a topic for the week. So this week is my turn. And so I wanted to ask you guys, how do you guys react to somebody telling you they like you? And it's not because of you, Mr. Paul. So don't say I had this set up before that, right?
Oh, okay.
But so how do you react to somebody telling you that they have a crush on you, that they like you, and do you think that affects whether you guys can be friends or not? Like if somebody you really dig, you get what I'm saying? Like you really dig them, and you know them maybe, let's say 6 months or something like that, and you like them more than a friend, but it started off as a friendship. How do you guys feel about, like, how do you feel? Do you think you could be friends with somebody like that after you tell them?
So is it me that's going to them or them coming
Or
to
them,
me?
them coming to you. Them coming
Them
to you. Them coming to you, like telling you, hey, I like you. I like you, Paul.
But we've been friends for 6 months.
Yeah. I like you, Paul. And I've been feeling these feelings for you, and yeah. So now I tell you that. What is your reaction to that?
Well, I mean, if they if they look good, I mean, I'm with it. I'm with it. Shoot your shot. Bing.
What if you're not into them?
Well, I mean, you know, who ain't? You know, who don't like somebody? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think it's all about how you respond. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's very important to. I think it's very important to try to make sure that you are respectful of people's feelings. Of course, nobody wants to be denied or rejected, right?
Right.
But it's very important to respect their feelings. It's very important to I hate to use that term, but let them down easy. You know, and some people ain't gonna be able to move on and be friends after they're rejected. It just is what it is. But I think if you set proper boundaries,
You should be good.
then you should be good.
All right.
Some people like to still push boundaries after the fact. After you set those boundaries, those people still like to try to push boundaries. If they still push them boundaries, then no, our friendship is null and void.
Go.
Yep.
All right. What about you, Claudia? How do you feel about that? Somebody comes to you, tells you they like you after being a friend of yours for a couple of months. Are you able to still sustain a relationship with that person?
Yeah, I mean, I'm most definitely what Paul said. It took me a second. I was like, I think that boundaries for sure need to be set. And there's a lot of time. So when you mentioned this before, I mentioned that I had something like that happen to me where someone... We worked together and he was just very cool, very sweet. And I thought, well, you know, like another guy friend. I have no issue being friends with dudes, right? Yeah. So he would be like, hey, let's go out, you know, for lunch. It was never really like dinner or anything. He never flirted with me, none of that. But somehow he caught feelings. And it was a situation that when he told me, I was shocked. Because I was like, you never, like, I never sense those vibes. I don't know where this is coming from. But very respectfully, I was like, you know what? I don't see this going.
Pass.
Yeah, I don't see this going anywhere. But if you would like to maintain a friendship, more than welcome. He ended up ghosting me after he said, yes, we'd be friends. But this was like a whole year later. He just out of nowhere disappeared. And then I found out on Instagram that he had a girlfriend, and I just respected that. I'm like, whatever, I don't know, like if that's what you're choosing to do.
Yeah.
But I am able to be friends with, like, if you have a crush, you have a crush. Like, who doesn't have crushes on people, you know?
Right.
Whatever.
What about you, Keith? How do you feel about that? Are you able to be friends with somebody who tells you that?
Yeah, if they're able to be friends with me and respect boundaries. I think the most important thing we need to say is you got to be honest with them, because if you're not honest, then it gets messy if you're not telling them the truth, because then they can construe things and not take it serious. Make sure you're being serious with them. Don't be joking in a matter like, nah, man, this would be okay. Don't joke around with it. Be serious with it, because sometimes they can take no as a joke. Like they don't think you're serious about it, and that's why they pursue further.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I could do the same. I think I could. I'm able to do it. Like you guys said, I'm able to do it. I don't feel some type of way towards it. I don't, nothing like that ever. Like I never felt uncomfortable because somebody said that, or it just never bothered me. It is what it is, right? And then if you like, Paul is saying,
Oh my God,
Paul is saying, if those boundaries are set and everybody knows what's what, and if you feel them, then you feel them, and if you don't, then you let them know you don't. Like,
absolutely,
clear boundaries, right? Clear boundaries of those things. If you like it, go get it. If you don't, whatever.
Let it go.
So that was all. That was a light little topic for us to keep going, and we're back. So the next topic we have is a more interesting one. We're going to dive into it a little bit deeper. And since we've got Mr. Paul here to help us out with it, it's going to be interesting to hear different perspectives, because a lot of the people here on this podcast have similar ideologies and perspective for the most part. Okay. Some things we disagree in, but it's nice to always have a guest and have somebody that disagrees or has a different outlook on what we're going to talk about. So today we are going to talk music and music stereotypes.
Ooh.
Right? So we're gonna talk music and music stereotypes. How do we feel? Has that ever happened to us? Right, where a person sees us, and by looking at us, they're like, "You should listen to country." Like you look like you listen to
Yeah.
country music for sure. For sure. You listen to country music for sure. Like, has that ever happened to any of you guys?
Not country,
Not
But like something else,
Yeah.
right?
but absolutely.
Like you should listen
Absolutely.
to rap and hip hop.
Absolutely. So obviously, judging by how I dress or even how I look, most people, I get in an Uber, and the dude will change the music to rap or
Right?
R&B,
Like I want to listen to that.
just like that. And it's like, actually, no, you can throw on Miley Cyrus. I'll be all right. Like, and I'm talking about the Plastic Hearts album, please. Thanks. Like, I listen to, or you can actually throw on, what's the Hugh Jackman movie? The where he was the circus ringleader.
Oh, The Prestige?
No, I know
No.
what you're talking about.
That is not the name.
Okay. All right.
The showman.
Yeah, The
Right?
Greatest
The
Showman.
Greatest-
Yeah, you can
Oh.
actually throw on Broadway. I'm cool with it.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I
Broadway,
listen
there you
to
go.
when I say I listen to everything. I mean it.
Careful, Rodney.
yeah,
We don't want
okay.
you swallowing the microphone
Oh,
now.
there. Everybody back up. No, but like, yes, stereotyped consistently. And then the other thing that also happens is a lot of people, because I sing, a lot of people automatically think that I sing R&B. Or because they've seen me in the church, they think that I just sing gospel and that's it. And the truth is I actually also sing R&B, or I also have sung background, or done, different things for all types of genres. So it's like, yeah, you should probably ask first. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, do you want to? Is there anything specific you want to listen to?
Right. How about you guys, Claudia? Have you been stereotyped into the type of music you should be listening to? So
Yeah,
somebody came up to you like, "Hey, man, you should be listening to that." Dun, 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 dun. Have they done that to you? Because they would assume that you would be
People
something.
assume that I would listen to like salsa and merengue only.
Oh, okay. But I'm
Nah.
saying like banda or something.
No,
like that.
well, I'm not Mexican, so they're not saying.
But somebody
like,
who
fun-
doesn't, some ignorant person who wouldn't, what I'm saying, they would just assume that
okay.
you're Latino. I don't know if you've ever gotten that.
No, I haven't. I honestly haven't. But when I tell people that I'm Cuban, they're like, "Oh my god!" So and they start naming. I love salsa. Don't get me wrong, but that's not all I listen to. So I'm not going to know all about it. And then when I actually play what I listen to, they're just like, "Oh, that is so white." What the fuck you mean that is so white? Like what? Because I listen to like Arctic Monkeys, Lana Del Rey, the 1975, like that type of music. They're just like, yeah, no.
No, thank you. What about you, Keith? Are you supposed to be listening to hip hop and rap?
Yeah, apparently, right?
Yeah.
That's
Are
only
they
thing-
right?
They're right. I do listen to. Look, you are so funny. I like hip hop and rap, but I like a lot of music. I don't like all music. I tell you that right now.
Yo, watching Keith listen to like rock, insane. I'm just gonna go out there and say,
Why is it insane?
You listen to rock, Keith?
yeah. But I'm talking about like rock, for real.
Oh,
rock.
like hard metal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Yeah, he played Guitar Hero, so it's funny to hear him, sing it. And I've heard Keith sing Spanish music before too.
Occasionally.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think I have a
shit.
clip of that of you singing like bachata.
Don't put it out there.
Whoa,
Yeah. Look and see, right?
that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I got it. You get in the Uber and they just change it to the hip hop station. Like, I kind of didn't want to listen to rap right now. It's not what's on my mind.
I'm not in the
I'm
mood for
furthest
that, actually.
from that mood right now. I can listen to some pop or what's on the radio, whatever.
Right.
Or if you got classical music on, that's fine. I'll listen to that.
Yeah, I think I get stereotyped like more than
Besides,
besides Mr. Paul.
That's gonna be happening all night.
All night. Just me, people think I should be listening to Mexican music, right? They should think I should be listening to all the horns and the accordions and the
So you say you don't?
electric pianos.
You don't?
And I don't listen to any of that. I don't like it. I don't like that music. I don't know how somebody can sit there and listen to it and be like, "Wow, this is awesome." You know, like, I don't know how it's like, you know, in headphones, you know, like put it
Right.
on and be like,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, like I don't
Just
see how
be
you can bop
bouncing.
to that. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't see how you can bop to that. And I'm a hip hop and rap. You know, like you've seen it. Like I've had people tell me, "Damn, dude, you know more rap than some of these people who's supposed to be listening, right?" Because there's people who think
It's like who's supposed to be listening
like,
to it?
Like who is it, right? But sometimes you know it comes with the territory, right? Like, you get outcasted, right? As a you shouldn't be listening to it, right? Or you shouldn't be rapping that, or you shouldn't, you know. And I don't know. Sometimes I think in my head like how hard it must be for white people.
Why? What do you mean? How
Because I
hard?
always like to fuck with white people and be like, what do you say? Like, what do you do when they say the N word in a song? Like, you know it's there, you know it's coming. Like,
Do you look around
like
and
you
see
can't
if
even tell me,
anybody's
like, you can't even
around
tell me that shit. Like, you,
to see if you're gonna say it or not? See if
like
you can say it.
in my head, I think like, you know, because they like to say that they don't see it, right? Or that
Yeah, right.
they're not gonna say it, or that, you know, it's act like it's not there. It's clearly there. You're gonna
It's
think
there.
You're gonna think about it, right? In your head, you probably said it. Mm-hmm. It's there.
That's there.
And if you know the song,
I can't stop it.
verbatim,
Yeah.
sometimes
It just flows with the song.
How do we feel about that? How do we feel about people? Wait, right? Look at Mr. Paul. How do we feel about, for instance, in hip hop and rap? I'm gonna be specific because it doesn't, or even R&B, because R&B uses some of that language too. How do we feel about people specifically? How do you guys feel?
What me?
You
Am I
Keith?
special?
You, Keith, and
Black.
Mr. Paul.
Mr. Paul, I hate that.
Makes you sound old.
Right. I am the oldest person here.
Mr. Taylor. Better?
Whoa.
No?
I don't have kids anymore.
So, yeah. So, how do you guys feel about people who aren't black saying the N word when it's in a rap song? So, who wants to go first?
Oh, I think I said this already. I don't care. I don't care because that's what the artist put in the music. If he didn't want you to say it, they wouldn't put it in. If they didn't want you to say it,
No, you know what?
they wouldn't
That's
put it in the music.
That's an interesting perspective. I get why I get why you say that. And I feel like, okay, so
What?
It's not like I'm saying it to somebody. I'm going with a song. This is
No,
what
no,
somebody
no.
was feeling at the time they sung the song and lyrics or
Yeah.
rapped the lyrics. This is what they felt. This is what I'm repeating after them.
yeah, no,
To
I
get what
don't feel
they
that way.
You don't?
No?
I personally don't, but I get why you feel that way.
Okay.
And it does make absolute sense. So while it does, I don't feel that way.
Okay. How do you feel?
How do you feel? Yeah, tell
I
us, tell us.
personally feel like you should not be saying that if you are not of that culture.
So, who's allowed to say it?
The funny part is you would think that like half of me shouldn't be saying it, right? Because I'm
So
I'm
you
both.
gotta say
Depends on
Nick.
what you claim
So,
first.
so should I be able to
You
say,
gotta say
like
Nick.
half of the word or the other half of the word, right? But no, that's dumb.
Of course.
No, but I don't.
Who should be allowed to say it? Why is it put in a song then if we can't?
That's
That is
So
a good
you
question.
so you like the money that goes into your pockets from these songs and music from people that aren't from your culture, but we're not allowed to say the word or be allowed to support that art in that way. So I'm not allowed to say the lyrics to a song that I really like and support,
getting paid for it.
and you getting paid for it.
That's an interesting perspective.
how does that work?
Mr. Paul, that sounds like some bullshit. Tell us what you really feel. Come on.
Well, I mean, to me, it's the same thing as you were getting paid for me to pick your cotton, but I didn't get anything from it but a place to live, to continue to get up and pick your cotton. So it's this to me. It's the same. It's the same. It's the same difference. So art is what you make it. Art is subjective, right? And so while you can get what you get from it and you can feel what you feel from it, there are certain things that you shouldn't be, that you, while it's interpretive, it's anybody's interpretation. you're gonna pay to get what you get from it, but there are certain things that you're just not. I feel like you shouldn't be allowed to just do just because it's in the name of art.
Yeah. Okay, I think I see where you're going with it. I think
That's just.
I think I
yeah,
see.
I don't think everybody needs to just be okay with just doing whatever
In music,
just because it's art. That's.
I think
that's
I see.
music.
I think I see where
that's
where he's going.
painting.
But essentially, it's like, well, also you got to remember, right? So Keith and Mr. Paul are two different people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what Paul is saying, right, is, I think there's two different kinds of people we're seeing here, right? We're seeing one person who's completely okay with the idea of it being said because it's in an art form and you're whatever getting compensated, or just in general, right? Why would you put it in, right? And put it out for the world to listen to, right? And then you have the other perspective, right? Where it's like, well, I think what Mr. Paul is saying is that if we allow that to happen, then we're gonna allow for other things to happen in a sense,
Just
right?
throughout the
right.
entire-
You know what I'm saying? Like once you're allowed to say that, well, then now you're gonna feel like you're allowed to say some other things, or you're allowed. So I think it's
Right, or just in conversation, or
then
now
just
because,
lose the
or,
and then lose
right, or
context
now
of it.
because I'm arguing with you,
I can-
because I've said it in a rap
song,
song.
I can say
now
it
when I'm
now.
arguing with you,
It's
now
okay.
it's a term of endearment,
Yeah,
or
or
now
what can- it's okay to
just,
use.
yeah. Now I'm just
It's
arguing with you,
conversating.
yeah, and it's
Right.
like no,
No,
baby,
no.
because now
That's
you
two
can get
different
punched in the
situations,
face. Yeah, and now you're gonna get a mud hole.
But that's what I'm
stomped in
saying. But in that stance, right, in saying that it's okay, I think what he's saying is that it can be taken that way, right? And you don't know where that person is gonna take that word, right? You don't know where that
Right.
person's gonna take that word from.
When
that
is the
art,
liberty
from music,
gonna be
right,
too
right,
far?
right, right.
Yeah.
So like, when is it gonna move from it being in an art form to outside of that, because of that art form, it's allowed being used in another situation
Yeah.
or in another instance, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's what it is more so. But again, to me, it's in the music, like
Yeah.
and you put it in
And I
there.
think that's the reason why I said I get why you think that way,
Yeah.
because it does make sense. Like, it is art. So, when it's art, people take what they take from art.
right.
Yeah,
like if I did a song and I'm saying, I'm rapping and I use a Mexican slur in it, right? Like spick or whatever, right? And I use that slur in it and that song happens to blow up. I can't expect, me as an artist myself, I cannot expect that people aren't going to say that word. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm like at that point, then if I don't want to say it, then I just won't say it, period.
Absolutely.
In a song, right? So, and I think that's again, that's an initiative that has to be taken from the artist, right? It has to be taken from the artist's perspective.
But do artists have a double standard saying that I can say it in my song, but you can't say it
Yeah.
back
They
to
do.
me?
Yeah, well, it is.
Why?
The double
Yeah.
standard.
How does that work?
I mean, and
I get paid off the word, but you're not allowed to use it.
And I think I've seen a few videos where, and to me, sometimes I'm like, y'all are setting these white people up, where white people are pulled up on stage.
I was just gonna get to that,
Then
and
they start
doing the
singing
lyrics
or
and
rapping
you get
to
mad
it,
when they
and then you get
finish
mad.
the
And
song
thing-
that you wrote. That-
Exactly. And the thing, I'm glad that you mentioned R&B, because R&B is a huge genre that puts it in there very slick, and it flows so nice with
Yeah.
the lyrics. When you're into that song, you're gonna be like,
No, really.
and so it's hard, because even for me, like I'm like, let me not use this word, because I'm just not trying to start anything. But yes, when I'm in my car and that song comes on, that Queen Naija song comes on, it's very hard for me to be like, no, I'm not gonna say that part, because I'm super into that song. But then again, I know my limits on where to say it, where not to say it, and I'm not gonna be out here using it on people. Like I'm not gonna do
this
that.
is a little bit off of that, right? A little bit off of the topic, but in a sense with the topic. It's just an extension of it. Are we in our social circles, are we using words? Because so I had a conversation with somebody, right? Where they're Latino, right? They use a lot of slurs that gay men use, right? So gay men that aren't allowed to be said none other than by gay people, right?
Okay.
By gay men. I'm not gonna repeat the word, but that's what is being said, right? In a conversation with two people who are okay with saying that word. And I've ran
True.
into multiple people who are okay with using that word. Me as a brother, I'm not gonna use it only because that's not my place, and I also don't know, what offends who and who offends what, right?
Absolutely.
So my question to you guys is: do we use any slurs or anything that isn't okay by society standpoints? And why is it okay to say it in that instance and not in a? You get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
Without being a
That's a
contradiction
That's a good.
to yourself.
That's a really good question.
Like you saying,
like how black people would be saying the N word within each other, right? Or if Latinos like to use a certain slur, referring to gay men within each other, and the gay man's okay with talking to the straight dude in that manner, and the straight dude's okay. Like it's vice versa, right? And in that instance, they're both can go back and forth. Like, how do we have those do we talk like that to people? Like,
yes.
do you have
within
different
circles?
do you have different conversation words, like even like within siblings or even with friends? You can use certain words with friends that you can't necessarily use with your siblings, or something like that. Like it's just certain words that you hear and like, oh, I know what they really meant by that. You're not taking it out of context. It's
Right.
like it's more context of how you interact with that person or that group particularly.
so how do you and how does that, like, how is that okay? Like, does that?
Because I know it shades a lot. I know
Yeah.
because you use a word, but you wouldn't use it necessarily in
Everywhere.
Everywhere, you wouldn't necessarily go
Absolutely.
around.
If I'm
saying that.
being 100% honest, there's a lot of words that I personally don't use, no matter if I'm in a private setting. And I mean, you guys are my friends, so the way I speak to you is the way I speak to all of my other friends. But I do,
We're special. Huh?
but I do have people close to me that be talking a little crazy, and I'm like, whoa, like, don't be saying, what are you doing? And then those are the same people that then be pointing fingers when someone else is using that same word. It's like, no, you have absolutely no right, because one, the word doesn't belong to you, and two, it's wrong to use, but you're giving yourself this standard of, yeah, I'm able to use it because I'm in the privacy of someone who I feel comfortable with. So.
What about you,
I
Mr.
get
Paul?
So yeah. So with some friends, I know exactly the words that you are talking about because I use those same words with those friends. And
Are some of those friends
yes
not allowed to be saying it to other people of the same?
So in our social circle, and by social circle I mean it is very small. It is very few of us. We would talk to each other like that. However, outside, we would not talk to anybody or even each other like that to give off that it's okay to talk like that or to talk to anybody or each other like
Yes, I
that,
get
if that makes sense.
It does make sense.
We would even it had got so bad that where the B word was like
You can
a
say
term,
it. I'll mute it out.
was like I'm not gonna. It's like a term of endearment. Was
Yeah.
like a term of endearment for
Yeah,
us.
like, bitch.
Yeah.
I say it. Don't worry.
And so realizing that that's like conversation for us, but outside it's almost like I can call you that and you can call me that,
But
but when
outside
we step outside this house, can't nobody else.
Yeah.
And we're not even gonna give off that it's okay to talk like that.
Right.
Because then now it's us against the world almost kind of situation. And I get the point that you were making too, because it's kind of like when you do that, you give the world the okay to basically use the same language that you using.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, right, in that instance, doesn't it seem like we're almost enabling somebody? That's like
You're creating
That's like
the
you're like
double
saying no
standard.
drugs, and then you do drugs, the side thing. But then you're like, don't do drugs, and then
Yeah.
on the side, you know what I'm saying? Like it's almost enabling that person.
You're assisting in the hypocrite.
Yeah, it's a hypocrisy in a sense, right?
Yeah.
It's a hypocrisy in a sense. So I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it's weird.
So
We're just weird people.
yeah. It's a human thing, right? I've said it
Yeah.
before. I've said it before. We're just all contradictions. But we're gonna.
Music.
Yeah, we're still sticking on music. So we're going to continue with the music talk, right? So our friend Mr. Paul Taylor here is a very is a religious person. Am I right in saying that?
Yes.
Very religious.
Yeah, sure. Yes.
No, yes. I want to get it right.
He don't want to get it right.
Very is cool.
Okay. All right. So very religious. And they listen to religious music,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
How does that music differ from the music like hip like just hip,
Mainstream.
hip-
I think it's
mainstream hip hop or
pop.
pop or whatever. How does it differ from that?
How does it differ? Ooh. Well, one.
What makes it like, what makes it religious?
Basically, what
because
makes
I
it
can make a
religious?
hip hop song and be talking
Saying-
about fucking bitches and doing all this other
Whoa,
stuff and throwing
yeah.
money and then and throw in the guy word somewhere in there. That could technically make it religious.
Yeah.
So I think the context is the biggest thing, right? Context is key.
Yes.
So you can make an inspirational song and it makes people feel good.
Okay.
I mean,
That's not technically religious,
WAP
is it?
is a great song and it makes people feel good, right? Mm-hmm. However, it is not a gospel song or a Christian song, right? So what makes it different, simply, if I could just simply put it, is gospel music or Christian music literally points people to Jesus.
Okay.
Okay.
It should, what the message in the song should point people to Jesus.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So it's
Should.
So an example of
Emphasis
something.
on
An
should.
example of something. Can you think of a line or a verse or something? I'm not to mean to put you in a spot, but of something that would give me a better idea of what a religious song sounds like. You don't even have to say it, like you don't have to rap it, but is there like a line or
Be
something?
like, I know like a line. I heard like a song, like it's a title of a song. I give myself away, something like that.
Yes.
Who do you give yourself away to? God, basically. That's like
good.
that's a
That's very
right.
good.
That's a
That is very good. I hate that song, but that is very good.
Which one?
thing.
I give myself away.
By who?
Let me
I
not
don't know
say
who
that.
it's by.
Sorry, guys. I don't hate that song. It's just we have sung that song
So much.
so many times.
Like, I know I heard it in
half of the
church
people
before.
that
I know
sing that
people sing
song
it.
do not give themselves away to God.
Exactly. I know that too. I know that too. They don't actually follow those lyrics either.
Can you like X all of that out?
Yeah.
I'm just playing. Don't X
Oh,
it
okay,
out.
okay. All right.
I said what I said.
Uh,
It's cool.
You gotta live by it. This is the Pushing Buttons podcast. We talk shit all day.
It is what it is.
So that's what makes it different. It points you in the direction of God.
It should.
Okay.
But what happens when people don't follow that? They just sing the song.
That's their problem.
Okay.
I'm sorry. No, the thing is the song that's the song. That's what it should do. The song should point them to God. Now, people are people though, so people do have choices. So whether the song points you to God or not, you still have the option to follow the direction or not. Just like the other songs have the direction as well
yeah,
of
going
pointing you to whomever.
Yeah.
Some hoes.
Okay, because I done followed the direction
violence.
too. I done followed that direction as well.
Well, it could be violence, you know.
How do you balance those two out then? How are you able to? Is there a hypocrisy in that? Are you able to? How are you able to listen? Because you listen to other music as well. right?
Absolutely.
So how do you? How is there a different balance between that?
It's all about who you follow. You can listen and not follow. I can listen to you tell. You can give me directions on how to get to the house, and I can still not follow your directions.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's extremely important to, just like. Yeah, I think it's just that.
I get what he's saying.
Trying to add more
You get what
fluff to
I'm
it,
Like
but it's
just- no,
extremely.
no.
I think it's, to simply put it, I can still listen to my gospel music, my Christian music, and have my relationship with God while still listening to other music and not letting that music influence my choices and my decisions.
That's
That
what,
makes sense.
that's what
All right,
that's what
that's
he's getting at.
That's
Beautifully
that's,
pulled,
that's what I
Mr.
was
the
trying to
same way we listen to like hip hop and rap. Like we don't do necessarily whatever
It
they're
don't
doing.
like like hip
we can
hop.
listen to it, but we can compartmentalize like
Some
that's
of it
not
be
right.
telling you
obviously.
cook and crack in the kitchen.
Yeah, right.
You ain't really
Yeah,
cooking
you
crack
crack
in the
it-
kitchen.
yeah,
you
you're
know
not
what I'm
using
saying?
Pyrex.
Oh, okay. sorry. My bad.
No comment. No comment.
B.
No comment. let's not divulge what we're doing and not
okay.
doing and
God.
rap and hip hop.
Sorry, guys.
Come on, that's gonna get us in serious trouble, guys. Cardi, how do you feel about that? Do you think there's a sense of hypocrisy in that? Do you feel like you're able to listen to one and not the other? Like, how do you feel about that? Give us a little insight into that. How do you feel about that?
You can listen to whatever,
So there's
whatever
no-
you want. Yeah, I've met people who they're Christian and they're very devoted, and they choose to. I've gotten into this person's car and all I hear is Christian music, and it's not bad. Some of the songs are fairly good. I'm surprised that I'm like, okay, this has some beat to it. Would I listen to it all the time? No, but I appreciate.
Agreed.
That but I can appreciate that she's just, she's like into her little music, and it's not too bad. But I think that as long as you have a balance, and it's what Paul is saying, it's what Paul said. You can listen to whichever kind of music you want. You could do whatever you want. You don't have to necessarily like WAP. You don't have to go around doing none of that, but you could still bop to that music, And me, for instance, I had a time in my life where I was listening to this one Christian song just because I loved this man's voice. Did I necessarily do what the song said? No.
Who, like Lecrae or something?
I actually really like Lecrae. I can't tell you any of his songs, but I really love
I cannot remember the name of this song, but I just know I just liked it, and I had it on my playlist, and it was just that random song that people be like, "What? We were just listening to like, what are we doing here?"
Like, what is this shuffle?
So
How'd you go from up?
right. But again, you could listen to whatever you want. I don't think that it should have a label.
Well,
to it.
I'm gonna thump on all of this. I cannot listen to that shit. I cannot.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say shit. Again, I don't listen to that.
You're
music.
going to hell. No, I'm just playing.
I don't listen to it. I can't listen to it. Again, it's something I just can't bop into it. Big Kanye fan, and then he took this religious route, and I'm like, no thanks. Like, I just can't do it, right? I can't.
like, no
to me, it's not something I want to listen to. It doesn't resonate with me, only because I'm not religious. So
Gotcha.
it's just not. It doesn't resonate with me.
Right.
And for me in music, I have to feel something when I listen to it, right? I have to, and then I'm more of a producer beats kind of guy anyway, right? Like
Okay.
I'm a whole, I've told you guys before, and I'll tell you this now. The way I listen to music is very different than everybody else. Just in this room in particular, maybe you too, only because I did music, and
Right.
the art form behind it to me is so much more than just a person rapping on a beat, right? Like it's the construction of the song, the way the song was constructed, where there's a certain snare or where there's a certain bass hit, where the beat drops, what kind of note somebody's hitting. It's like a bunch of things into one, and it's not, it just, to me, the religious thing just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
It's not something I can vibe with. Do you listen to it?
Oh no. Not a chance.
Say, oh,
I love that.
Not a
I
chance.
love it.
What do you-
I love it.
what do
It
you
was
love
the
about what?
no.
I ain't gonna lie to you. Not a
I think I've ever
chance.
sat down and listened to gospel.
I got people that tell me that they want me to listen to it. I'm like, it's like, but I'm not. It's not something I want to listen to. Like you said, it doesn't resonate with me. I'm not into being up all the time.
I remember I grew up. Now that I'm thinking about it, I did grow up. My grandma / aunt, she would listen to that a lot, right? So it was very gospel music. It was very into going to church and stuff like that. She was from the South, so they love them.
As
their-
all of our grandmothers were.
yeah. So they love their religious music, and they like to go to church. And there's a lot of singing in churches like that, right? Where they do gospel and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's a party going on. Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know how much time we got. We don't have a lot, right? It goes fast. I forgot
Really?
to
Really?
Can I ask our Paul this? Has gospel music changed over the years?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I want to get to.
Cause so it used to be like foot stomping, old school church, like somebody bring out the tambourine and a washboard.
Oh, they got the 808 now in church?
No, we really no. Like so, like one of our church members actually has like almost an 808 like club like song, and it's really freaking dope. Like gospel music has evolved so much now to where like sometimes it's kind of hard to tell the difference
Between what?
between mainstream and gospel music.
Okay.
But it's kind of cool though because it's like, oh, that's actually dope because that I was actually finna put you on to some people to kind of get you like from the producer standpoint because a lot of the people that I kind of listen to now were producers first, and then kind of like you know how producers do like
Rappity rap now.
Yeah, they kind of do they love music now.
Yeah,
after,
yeah.
You know, after
Yeah,
giving
after getting
everybody
it on,
else,
you know, yeah.
you know, like this guy named Molly Music. He's a really dope artist. He kind of raps and kind of sings, like kind of does the both. He's a really dope artist. You might like him.
It's religious.
He's not. He's not like he's more of a storyteller. So like some of it is religious, but it's more like it's kind of hard to tell if he's religious or not. Like his earlier stuff was like super religious, but now like he's kind of like more mainstream. So it's like kind of hard to tell like if he is or not. So that's why I said like listen to his newer stuff. You could probably like figure like what song you might like or not. But anyways, yes, to answer your question.
And you know, hopping off of what he's saying, I think that that's why I liked that song that I was mentioning. It's because it's not, when I think of gospel music, I think of exactly what you described. And I was like, okay.
Old school church
but
music,
I
like,
listened to this and it literally felt like I was listening to Mumford and Sons. That's
you.
like, that's the vibe I got. And you wouldn't have known that it was a religious song till at one point he mentioned God. Other than that, you could have like there were some songs that are mainstream that I didn't even know were religious songs, and they were like, who did you think she was talking about? I'm like, I don't know, her boyfriend. and then they were like, no. And then and then they were like, no, she's saying that she'll wash his feet. And I'm like, I don't know, maybe she was really devoted to her man. Like,
I mean, you know, you ain't you heard Cater to You? Like,
but in that, I remember that part of the song. I was like, that's a little weird. But then someone told me, well,
dropping it down for
she's-
Jesus?
Yeah, basically. And you would have never thought because now it's like they have rap, they have pop, they have country, and you would not know that that's
all
a
genres
religious song.
of gospel.
They even have. I remember listening to like reggae and stuff.
Doesn't Biebs have one out right now that's religious?
Justin Bieber, yeah,
It's like holy or something, right?
With
he's got
Chance.
He's got a bunch of songs that's out that's gospel. I think he came out with an actual album that was a gospel album, but don't quote me.
Yeah. I don't know.
I know her has she just did something with somebody that was gospel.
I
It
like
just
her.
came out on Friday.
So
Wait, today's Friday. Sorry.
today. Don't worry, this episode will come out Wednesday, so it'll be last Friday.
Got you.
And we're back again.
Sup.
So we were talking about how people separate what they can and can't do in religion, right?
Yeah. Okay. So my view on that, honestly, okay. Because this is like a really long drawn out answer. So I'm going to try to like not preach because I can do that, but I'm not. So I think before you can really tackle like the whole, well, what should you be doing? What you shouldn't be doing? What can you do? What's really considered sin? And what, you know what I'm saying? All of that. You first have to actually build a relationship with God. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people that are worried about what's really sin don't really even believe in God. So why are you worried about it? Let's start there.
Okay, that's
Secondly,
that's a take.
if you do believe in God and you do believe in building relationship, why are you so worried about what you're going to get a whooping for or what you're going to get a spanking for? Like, why would I want to love you out of fear that I'm going to get whooped by you, as opposed to loving you because I actually love you? You know what I'm saying? So like it's the same difference of obeying my parent because I actually respect and love my parent, as opposed to obeying my parent for the sake of not getting a whooping.
Okay.
That's how we need to view God. That's how I view God. God is not this judgmental dictator that wants to smash us like little ants because we're just little dumb people. If that was the case, then the scripture would not have said that we were created in the likeness of him and made in his image. We were made to be loved by him. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I think humans, per se, are looking at it with a very skewed view. We're looking at it from a view of what can I get away with? What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And not just that, but a lot of people, especially in church, and I say that as a person in church, we look at it as what can I look at you and judge you on so that I got the keys, can put you in hell and not in, so that I can, because maybe I get some extra brownie points and it'll get me in heaven.
Oh, wow.
Like, girl, what?
Is there a rebuttal to that, Claudia? Do you have a rebuttal? Anything to say towards that?
I know that was a lot.
Now that
I'm
we
sorry.
have we have a religious person here.
Yeah, no,
Without getting too crazy, because
I respect what you said towards the end. Definitely, where people in church for sure do look at you and they try and find anything they can to pick you apart. However, for me, it's not, and I have said this before and I'm going to continue to say it. My issue is not the religion and the faith. My issue is some of the people.
Absolutely.
And to me, if church was him, I feel like anyone would love to go to church, because there's that less form of judgment. And me being a bisexual woman, I have a girlfriend who believes in God, and she's also very spiritual, right? But spirituality and I guess religion don't mix for whichever reason to some Christian folks. And I once walked into church with her, and you could see the looks, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to hide my relationship. I wasn't all over her. I understand that we're in a setting of respect, like
just shut up.
But I was most definitely not going to stop holding my partner's hand.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that was just that tends to be my issue. It's that sense of I want to feel, which I know that it's not always going to happen, but it would be nice to feel welcomed in a place that's supposed to make you feel welcome.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I get what you're saying, yeah. They say that everyone is welcome, but then they don't follow through.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's not everybody, like Mr. Paul is saying. Not everybody is like that, right? And not everybody can be like Mr. Paul, right? Where we were welcoming to other folks. I think this is a conversation we should have with more people. I think it's an important conversation to have.
I agree.
A lot of people aren't willing to hop on here and talk without the, it's a lot of tiptoeing and
the anger and
right, and the anger, and there's also a lot of tiptoeing, right? And I want to have a conversation where there ain't no tiptoeing.
We want to get straight on
straight to the
let's dive in. Dive in.
But we'll move on from that, and we'll talk more about one of the other topics we had, which we divulged in a little bit at the beginning, but now I want to dive deeper into it.
Oh God.
Which again has to do with the N-word, right? How do you're full black, right?
Yeah, what's full black?
Like not
like
white, not,
no.
not something.
From where I know, I'm full black. Yes.
Okay, and Rodney,
I am half and half.
half what and half what?
Ooh. No, it's fine. So my mother is African American and my father is Caucasian.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And so, how do you
Thought I was gonna say something real fancy.
Yeah. You know, like I'm 10% this, and 10% that, 1% this.
You know, we always Native American somewhere, right?
So, I guess in a sense, how does it feel? Do you feel, you two, do you feel that?
You too.
I hate to single it out, but I mean they're the
But
ones.
here we are.
Yeah, they're here. So, how do we feel? Is there a certain difference when a black man says it and a biracial person? I hope I'm saying that right. Biracial person.
Biracial.
Biracial person says it. Is there like a difference? Is there an issue within that in your guys' communities?
For me personally,
Yeah.
no.
Whether it's a light skinned mixed person or a dark skinned person?
Nope.
No? What about you?
So it's
It's tricky.
no, but I won't say it around my white family.
No? At all?
Absolutely not, because I don't want them to feel like it's okay for them to say it.
Okay, I can get that.
Because you definitely not finna call it to me. You think you gonna call me it? Because see, here's the other thing. My white family lives in the rural Texas. So when you say it, I feel like you're saying it because you really want to say it. And
What
all
if
of
they
y'all
really want to say it? Like to be cool.
No,
And it's not even like in a derogatory way. Would you accept it?
You are so
first of
funny,
all,
B.
Let me
Oh
go
my
ahead,
God.
Let me go ahead and paint the picture for you. Okay.
Okay.
Paint it for me.
We're talking the panhandle. Not the panhandle. We're talking right on the border of Oklahoma and Texas. Very. Can I say redneck? Is that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, we're going to say it anyway because that's my family. Very redneck. And my father's father has already told me that he did not look at me as a grandson because he did not appreciate his son having a child with a black woman. So if he uses the N-word, I'm very sure it's going to be very strong R at the end of it. So it ain't going to be to be cool. It's going to be so that he could get a mug.
What if somebody else that was white wanted to say it? That wasn't in your family. That was a white friend, and they wanted to say it.
All of my white friends know that you're not finna say that with me.
Are they allowed to?
Absolutely not.
How do you
You
feel?
can tell us off the podcast.
Wait, no. How do you feel?
Absolutely not.
How do you feel about
serious.
the black people who give this pass or this imaginary card to other
of those.
people to use that word? Because I've heard of that a lot.
Mr. Ball, I have a couple of those.
How do you feel about that?
I got a lot.
So this is my thing. To be dead honest with you, I feel like you give the card when they get upset and they call it to you. Don't be trying to beat them up for it. You can because it's the same thing with the terms of endearment. So like just like the conversation we were having earlier, when it's the double standard, right? You and I are having a conversation where we're real cool, right? And I let the B word slip out. If that's something that you don't like, you need to nip that in the bud right there. Hey, don't use that language with me. Don't ever call me that, right? But if you start giving passes, boundaries start getting crossed, all of that stuff, when people start thinking that stuff is cute, when we get out in the open and you start using that word, I don't want to hear you getting like, oh, no, it's okay. It's all right. No, you finna get punched in your throat. Period. No, I don't like that. Me personally, I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? You do you. But if I hear it, I'm literally going, who you talking to?
And I'm going to be like, I'm just kidding. I don't say it.
That's going to be your...
I don't say it.
That's hilarious. Because if I see you do that, I'm probably going to hit the floor. That's stupid.
I don't say it. I don't say it.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep that.
We're gonna keep rolling.
Behind the podcast scenes. I like not telling people. I don't know whether they do or don't know, but it's funny not to tell them.
What do you mean? I tell them that
I
you
like to play with that line.
really.
Like I like to ride that line of, you know, you'll never know.
He's silly.
You'll never know. I have my circle of friends, and we know what's up. So
Period.
That's just it. I don't know. How do you feel about that, Claudio? Like, do you think do you think it should be okay for Latinos to say it? Because that's a common thing,
See,
right?
Latinos
there's a common thing between Latinos saying it to their black friends.
So Latinos love to use that word, especially the light-skinned Latinos. I noticed that they love it, and I'm just standing there like, "What are you doing?" For me, I'm Cuban, and my family's mixed. And so for me, I know that the N-word is a harsh word, and the history of the United States is definitely not a word to use. So personally, I don't like to just be talking and every 2 words say that word, right? I do have to say that when I was in high school, there was a level of ignorance, and I didn't realize what that word truly meant. And I was out here thinking, I was like, and now looking back at it, I'm like, wow, I was just using that. And that's not my word. Like, yeah, I might have black in me, but technically it doesn't to me, what I'm trying to say is that I look at it and it doesn't have that punch in the like gut for me that might have for other people, but I can understand the meaning behind it and why some people choose to not use it. So to me, it's always been very interesting that black people in America till this day use that word, knowing what that word means, knowing that word was used to put people down. But a lot of people say that they use it as a brotherhood type of thing, which, I respect. But to me, it's just something that I never truly understood.
It's really weird because it's kind of the same thing to me about how people use the B word as a term of endearment, but then can also flip it and use it. Now, granted, don't get me wrong, it holds no weight to what the N word is, but how it's almost weird to me how certain words in certain communities can hold weight negatively, but can also be used as a term of endearment. Like, I'm talking to my homies or like my bros or something like that, and you're my B, right? But somebody else make me mad, and you ain't
are
nothing
the B.
but you ain't nothing but a raggedy B. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that to me, the human language and how we choose to use it. That's why people we were so weird when we were kids, talking about some sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Yes, they will.
Words hurt?
Words absolutely hurt. Names hurt.
I don't have words. Don't hurt.
Oh, you don't have feelings?
No, I don't have words that like. I don't know. Maybe I'm not thinking of one off the top of my head, but it's not gonna. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
I know.
It doesn't.
After
hurt.
a while, there's certain words that you may not think. I'm not gonna say this is your story. I'm just saying as a generalized statement.
Okay.
Generalized statement. A lot of people go off into the hustle mode because of a word, or a lot of people go off into certain life cycles or certain living situations, things like that, because of things that they were called or.
And we're back again. We're back again. Fuck.
What were we talking about?
You were popping the mole off
I don't
your
even know
face.
why we were talking about that, but hey, man.
They were popping the
words hurt.
words hurt. Yeah. So they
Sorry.
told you that you had a mole on your face.
Yeah, this little girl and she was terrible. But anyways, and then she grew up to be ugly. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
And look at me. No, I'm just playing.
Flies on.
No, I'm kidding. Or
No, you're
am I?
not.
No, you're not.
No, you're not. But yeah.
No, so I literally like 2 weeks later, I was so depressed about it. My granny literally, she literally grabbed the side of my face in a church parking lot, grabbed her, like, she had like this strong nail. She could literally do anything with this nail. It was one of these, you know, how old people got a story. Slammed her thumb in a door, and the nail was just like hard as concrete. And like she literally cut the mole off with her, like her thumbnail, like right there in the
Strong
church.
nail.
She did perform surgery, like right there, and literally because of the words that somebody said to me. So it was like, I think a lot of people don't realize how words can affect people. I think that it's important to try to do a study on how words can affect people. Even if you don't think that they do, I think everyone's decision in one way, shape, or form are shaped by the words, whether they're affirmations or whether they're what's the opposite of affirmation? Or if they're derogatory.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your decisions are I think they're you know, based on
The words of some
on the
people
words of somebody, especially if there's somebody that's supposed to be guarding you, like a parent or a person that's supposed to be raising you up.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think any words really. Maybe I just subconsciously do it and don't even notice that a word is shaping what I do or say, I guess.
Never know.
So I don't know what happened. It's shut off again.
No.
We've done this shit like a zillion times.
We're so scared.
Hey,
Where are we
yo,
at?
you guys' faces for these clips are gonna be hilarious. It's gonna be like,
We all scared.
wait, what the fuck happened? And I can't.
Traumatized.
And then me and Mr. Paul can't hear the.
Oh yeah.
So
can't hear
aren't you
it,
glad
so-
now?
Aren't you
Yeah.
glad
Aren't
we
you
got
glad?
it? Because we wouldn't have been able
Blah
to tell.
blah blah blah.
We would have been recording this whole time and
Sure.
nothing.
All right, since this podcast doesn't want to let us go, we're gonna cut it off here. But I do want to say, man, I had a good time with this episode. It was really fun.
Yeah, it was really good.
I enjoyed it. You've got the voice of a radio person, and maybe you should think about doing it.
Should I?
So it was good. It was a good time.
Absolutely.
I had a good time with all y'all. And before we close this out, I do want to say that we are on all streaming platforms. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and we are on Anchor for your ass. And we're on YouTube, so go subscribe. What happened? You get- we would greatly appreciate.
traumatized, y'all.
Yeah, y'all traumatized now. Don't forget we're your podcast favorite podcast, and we are out. Peace.
Bye, guys.
Bye.